to the August the 12th. Wow, another month flying right by pretty quick. We got big data this morning, and which can really affect the market a lot depending on what direction the data goes. If the data is flat, we're gonna see a flat market, but we are expecting the CPI really to jump this morning. So I will bring the CPI up in a minute, but let's take a look at the ES futures first. Basically, been talking about it the last few days. The ES is not going anywhere until this CPI data comes out today. So we're waiting for that data, and that will move the market. And it hasn't broken the all-time high since from the last week. In the last pretty much 7 sessions, the market has stayed lower than the high that it did on July 31st. So in August, it hasn't set a new high, and it's basically been going sideways, which we had predicted that the CPI data would maybe change that today. But ES futures is sitting here at 6,400 pretty much even, and it's basically all morning has been waiting for this data to come out so it can move one direction or the other. But what could happen? Okay, so far we are looking at, if you look at the top here, there has been a lot of selling. And if this a lot have been selling, this means maybe the market is going to get pushed to the downside. Okay, but if the market does break out, all these sellers here are maybe short sellers sitting here. And if those short sellers, if this market breaks out, all these guys will have to run and buy their positions back. And if they start buying their positions back, who knows how far this can go up into the black space. So if you're looking for a really good trade today, and you for like a day trade, and you're looking at futures, well, that's your opportunity is right there, 64, 67, 68. And that's where I think it can really break out to the upside because all these sellers that are sitting there. So looking at I also put the put call ratio in the chat if you look at it there. And we were watching it yesterday, and I watched it throughout the day. It pretty much held to the downside where the SPY and the triple Q put call ratio kind of pushed it towards the call side. So that means basically is the market should be, they're expecting good data. That means the CPI should be down. If CPI is down, and these calls are being bought on SPY and triple Q, which are going to make money if it breaks out. So that's another hint right now in the market that if these put call ratios are going to be able to say go higher, and that would be very interesting if the the especially when we are expecting CPI to be higher, if it comes at a lower. So it's going to be very interesting in another 12 minutes. So please somebody keep an eye on it in case I forget. But I'm going to bring the Forex chart but like a couple of minutes before the market opens for the CPI. So we can get a good idea what direction the market, if somebody wants to play the market, you can play the market, but I don't take risk on any data. Even though I think the data is going to go this way, I still don't play this market like that because the data can absolutely because the movement there can absolutely kill your account pretty quick. So that's why I don't like doing that. I don't like playing that, and I don't take risks on that. So what data so far? What does ES looks like? ES, I don't think it's going to go anywhere till we get this data out. So I'm not going to predict this is going to be a risk on day or a risk off day till we get the CPI data. And what's happening with the triple Q? Same thing. There are only 12, 13 points to the upside. It kind of tried to break the upside. It's like a double top here. It tried to break the upside yesterday, but it kind of held back. And same thing, it's waiting for the CPI data to come out. And if that CPI data again, let's see another. It's 8:19 in another 5 minutes. I will bring the Forex factory data there, and we'll try to predict what direction this market's gonna go. So far, it looks it's basically a flat market. It's basically flat on the ES. It's flat on the the NQ. And what about quickly take a look at if there's any other hints. Let's look at the Dow Jones. This one's only got 30 stocks in it, right? So you're not gonna learn a lot from this. only from 30 stocks, but it had a double top here and it had a triple top here. And what direction is it going? It also got a lot of selling going on it in this index as well. So let's see what happens. IWM quickly take the Russell 2000, take a look at it. Same thing, holding sideways, waiting to see what's going to happen. The data. What is a 10-year telling us? 10-year is so far going to the upside, thinking the CPI data is going to be high. So this is hinting right now that the CPI data is going to be high and there's not going to be any interest rate cuts. If there's no interest rate cuts, guess what's happened to the 10-year yield? It goes higher. So that's what it's showing us right now. But it all could change. Same thing with the dollar index. It's also telling us that the CPI data could be higher as well. So a lot of things are pointing in the direction that the CPI data could be higher. All right. So I'm not all convinced yet till the numbers come out. So far, everything except the put call ratios, everything else is pointing towards that the CPI is going to be higher. Okay. So look at what about the Bitcoin? Quickly, what is Bitcoin telling us? Bitcoin is basically standing by and see if we get a lower inflation or higher inflation. So everything is basically on a standby. There's nothing really here out to stand. So I'm going to go quickly over some news. So in the next 4 minutes of some of the stocks that had news quickly going to go through that. Then in another 4 minutes, I'm going to go back to Forex Factory. We'll take a look at other stuff because let's take a look at Circle, CRCL. Okay. CRCL had some good news coming out. They had a great increase in earnings. This is a new IPO. I think this is a day trader stock. I actually mentioned it early at 171. I mentioned this morning, if anybody bought it at 171, it's at 176 right now. This could push right nicely to the upside today. This is on earnings. It was up over 5%, and they had 53% year over year growth in earnings. In revenue, well, earnings. So that's a very good number. They from 540 to 658. That's a pretty strong growth on this stable coin CRCL. This is a new stock. I like what the revenue growth. I like what the numbers came out, but this is just a trader stock right now. It's just not a long term, but it's just a trader stock right now. So that's good. You picked it up. Okay, fantastic. So I think this is you're already up $6. I think it's gonna go higher, but I think it might. I don't know. Is it gonna hit 200? I think a lot has to. Just remember, we got CPI data coming out that will affect this stock. Okay, it will affect it. No matter what. So let's see what if the data is good on our side, and then this is gonna easily go higher for sure. Okay, so just be careful that we got a data out coming out in another 7 minutes. So Circle is one. What about Intel? Intel yesterday, the CEO went kiss, Donald Trump's ring. So now Donald Trump think he's gold. Okay, now this yesterday with this stock was down. Today this stock is up. So now what do you believe in Donald Trump? One day he tells the guy he's an idiot. The next day he tells the guy you're a hero, right? What to believe out of Donald Trump, I have no idea. Okay, that is Intel story. I'm not interested in the stock, even though he likes the Intel. I don't care. Intel is not going anywhere. Apple is another story. Apple, Elon Musk is going after Apple. Why is he going after Apple? He's taking the ChatGPT. Apple is taking ChatGPT and they're putting in their stores. That means they haven't done anything with Grok, the AI that he's got. So he thinks this is bias and he wants to sue Apple. So that's a little bit negative news for Apple. But again, I think I don't understand why Apple just can't put Grok in there as well. But a lot of times, what Apple does is they charge these, to put anything in their app store. They usually charge like a fee. So maybe ChatGPT offered them a lot of money here. Remember back then when Google had its, the search engine, and they put, on the Apple phone they put the Google search engine, and Google was actually paying Apple to do that. So ChatGPT could be the same thing. They could be paying Apple to put this on their stores. Which the Elon Musk doesn't want to do. Okay. So Nvidia, that's a next news that I want to talk about. Nvidia, uh, uh, even though Donald Trump has allowed China to buy the H20 chips, but now we have Xi coming in, and he's asking companies. He's if a company like Nvidia, not Nvidia, the Baidu or Baba, if they want to buy the H20 chip, he's saying justify it. I want a justification why you're buying it. And he doesn't want the Chinese company to actually buy it at all. So, and the guys like, companies like Baba has to now justify if they're buying the H20 chip. That's another now thorn in NVIDIA. NVIDIA could be a little bit of negative news this morning. It's still holding stable here. So it could be still a negative news on this one here on NVIDIA. So again, Tesla, next stock, it's been downgraded. So this could be to the downside this morning. Again, too bad news for Tesla this morning. It is up a little bit so far this morning, but it has been downgraded by, what's his name? Guggenheim, something like that. That's a guy's name. He downgraded to $175 target on this one, and currently it's trading at what, 339 bucks. $175 is a big down target to the downside. So that looks negative to the news. So we got 3 minutes to go, and I'm gonna hold on of the rest of the news. Let's go take a look at the Forex Factory, guys. And where are we going this morning with this? Come on. Okay, so here is the news. We got about 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Core CPI is to come at 0.3, which is higher than the previous number that came in. This was a previous number, 0.2. So if it's coming at 0.3, that means inflation goes up. But if it's an even number, we're not gonna see much action in the market. Okay, but if this number is higher, I certainly see the market going to the downside. If this number is higher than 0.3. Same thing on this one, the core this is the core, sorry. This is the one that excludes food and energy, I think. Yeah, food and energy. And the other one has food and energy. This is the one really I like to see, this number here. And it's slated to come at 0.2. That is lower than the previous number of 0.3. So that's going to be interesting how these numbers come. Overall CPI right now in the US is sitting at 2.7. 2.8 is expected. Anywhere close to 3, this market goes to the downside. Okay, so we got a minute and a half to go here. I'm gonna move this out of sight, and let's bring the ES chart up in front of it. See what it's doing. This is really gonna be a decision maker for the Feds. What they're going to do. So I'm gonna drop the chart down to about a minute here, so we can see clearly, and you can see. This is already the fluctuation is the candles are getting big because this is a very concerning CPI data that's coming out because it's going to affect us big time, especially interest rates. So let's see what comes out. We got about 54 seconds to go. Anybody want to take a shot at predicting this thing? Whether we're going to have an upside or the downside on CPI? Can put in the chat if you like, and let's see what it comes out. I think it's gonna be higher or even or high, whatever the forecast is. So I think it's gonna be more like what the forecast is, maybe a little bit higher on the top the core CPI. And remember, energy was pretty steady last month on oil. So let's see how it comes out. Aman says 2.7. I would say, yeah, 2.8 or 2.9. Okay, we should have that data any minute. And what is the market doing? Market's kind of bumped up already. That could be the inflation is lower. Yes, it is. Inflation is lower, 2.7%. Right on, Aman. Kudos. The inflation is up. 0.3 on CPI, which is the same as the forecast. And same thing. Look at the market, guys. Market has broken out to the highs. The markets are going up to new highs, and it has done just as we expected it to do. As the market we predicted, if the market inflation was down, this thing is going to the upside, and it is going to the upside. What is it doing overall? Let's take a look at it quickly on the. Let me move this out of the way. Let's go to the 1 hour chart. It hasn't actually broken out to the all-time high yet, but 64.71 is actually the all-time high, but it's gonna break out this one here. Looks like it up here around 64.30, and so far look, this is pretty strong to the upside. I think it somewhere during the day, I think we'll see maybe the all-time high today on this. So the market is moving up nicely on this news. It's a good news. Chances of getting just quickly, I want to see what the chances of getting interest rate cuts are in September. Now they should be a lot higher. Let me see what the numbers are here. Last time it was sitting at 95% for a quarter point cut. So what is it doing? Just hang on, guys. It's just slow uploading today. Okay. Looking at, wow, okay. It's interest rate cuts very likely. They even predicted. They said they're very likely to cut interest rates at least by a quarter point, even by maybe even a half. So chances of getting a half a point cut have gone up as well. They were sitting at 45%. Now they're sitting at roughly about 70% now. Maybe even a half a point cut. So that if we get like a quarter point, half a point cut, remember this could be by the time we get to September, a quarter point could be already priced into the market. So a lot of people are gonna say, well, we got a quarter point cut. The market didn't go anywhere. The market already priced that in. So just gotta remember, guys, if the market's already prices that in, that means it by the September rolls around. That means just like stock market, just like our if you're holding those housing stocks, DHI, PHM, those stocks are gonna move up today, and they're expecting that quarter point cut. So real estate, if you look at DA, I haven't even looked at what those stocks are doing right now, but we'll take a look at it in a minute. But do expect now the higher numbers here, expecting that rate cut. They're also saying now in December. They're saying in September is a rate cut, and December is a rate cut. What about November? I think there's some meeting in between there too. Chances are, if they cut quarter points in the next meeting, then I think they'll cut another quarter point the following meeting. So now Donald Trump, well, I'm sure you're gonna get him rubbing Jerome Powell to cut interest rates, right? So we also got the Jackson Hole meeting coming up in by the end of this month as well, last week of the month, and that's really going to be a big topic. Talk about interest rate cuts. What is it going to be? A quarter point, or is it going to be a half a point? Okay, so there you guys have it. The market should move. I think it's a risk on day. I think the market's going to flourish to the upside. So if you're looking at the stable coin, it's probably picked up a little more on it. CRCL, let's see what it looks like. Yep, it's 179. It's going higher. So this report is going to push this stock even higher. Doesn't that worked out really well for us this morning there, Gurkeet? Picked up a really nice one earlier this morning. So very nice. Let's take a look at what the rest of the news was. I also wanted to talk about Starbucks. Starbucks is also trading higher. Now it's probably going to even trade higher. Let's see what Starbucks is doing. So if you're holding, yeah, it's going higher. So if you have, I've been holding the Starbucks for a while. In and out, but now I've been holding it again for a while. So there is a target outperformed on the stock from $100 to $115. It's not even $100 yet. They moved the target from 100 to 115. And who was this guy that made it here? Bard upgraded the stock. Okay, so that's news on Starbucks. Take a look at look what the 10-year yield is doing. So the 10-year yield should be going down a little bit. So let's take a look at TNX, right? And it is going down a little bit, 4.27. I think it should go, if it goes down further to the downside, this is also going to be good news for the stock market. If this goes to the downside, it's going to make people, you can borrow cheaper money and put in the stock market. So I think this is going to go higher. I see 4%, this 10-year yield by, I think maybe September rolls around. Okay, so if you get 4%, those bonds that I'm making, I'm holding, and if you're holding those bonds, that is capital gains, guys. Easy money. So wait, I'm still holding those 3 out of those 4 bonds to the downside. So what did our data tell us? Look at the put call ratio that I put in the chat. So they told us that they were buying, and they were buying on the call side. This data is almost like every time I did it, it's almost like a 90% above. It called it in the right direction every single day almost. What that put call ratio on the SPYs and the triple Qs. This is people betting on which direction the market's gonna go. And when you look at the overall data, and that's telling us pretty good that look, we were right again. This data was right again this morning. So that is pretty good. So well, I'll keep an eye out throughout the day again today to see what that data looks like, so you can maybe make plans whether you want to get out of the stocks or you want to get into the stocks. Okay, so far this data is incredible. It looks nicely to the upside. Take a look at the forex market. What about the dollar index? Dollar should be weaker. Here it is, and there it is. Dollar index is going to the downside as well. So the whole CPI going to the upside. That means interest rate cuts make the US dollar even cheaper. I think it's going to go down even further. I will see $1.34, I think, on the Canadian dollar maybe by September. It's $1.3790 right now. Euro is sitting at $1.1627. The pound is sitting at almost $1.35. I see pound at $1.40. If you guys are trading forex market, in the next 2 to 3 months, I see these things going at 120 and 140 respectively on these on the forex factory there. Sorry, on these forex market. Okay, so also see the US dollar Japanese. This is too high, $1.48. I see this going lower to back to the $1.40, $1.35 range. Okay, so what were we doing today? Basically, it's a risk on day. Basically, you can probably buy any stock, probably most likely go to the upside, and chances of going to the upside is good. So we'll talk about some of the other stocks. Well, I think most of the stocks are going to head basically to the upside. Doesn't matter what stock you pick. When you pick up market going up, chances are, let's take a look at the home stocks, DHI, because they're affected by this inflation big time. So look, it's already fired up to the upside. Okay, look at that. Since the look at in the last hour, DHI is already up $3. So this is how we make money, guys, in this by predicting the future where we are in this stock long before we got into this, right? We predicted the interest rates were going to go down, and look where the stocks are going. This is breaking out to the upside right now, DHI. I hope you guys have tons of it. Hopefully you guys are making tons of money. What about PHM? PHM should be also up. Yeah, it is up, but I'm looking for this breakout. If anybody that hasn't bought this stock, look for it to around that 124 area to really break out. That's where it could really break out to the upside. So if you don't have PHM, maybe you want to add it at 124. Okay. So some the other stocks we were looking at, ARV is another real estate. This one is here. It's actually not been doing good, but I think it's going to turn it. So it has a very strong support back here. So I think this can turn around back to the upside here as well. So this is, I think it's ET and not ETF. It's more like They invest in a lot of properties. They rent rental properties. So this is not like a home builder, but these are rental properties. Okay, so I think it should go to the upside. What about RTKR? RTK should be actually, uh, sorry, not Art. Yeah, Art Rocket Companies.
RKT buddy.
RKT. Yes, thank you. Yeah, RKT. So this should be up too, and it is 1760. So all these interest sensitive stocks, if you got other real estate, you should be making good money. Okay. Yeah, should be add R. I like to add PHM. If you want to add if you want to add real estate, add PHM, add SRU.UN, Smart Centers, add RioCan. Okay, I like those stocks better because why do I like those stocks better? I like the dividend. I like the dividend better on those stocks, and their dividend is much safer as well. Okay, their dividend is much safer as well. Take a look at Raj Lulu. Let's take a look at Lulu. Lulu is going to the downside. It's picking up a little bit because of the the inflation numbers. Again, uh, it's. I think this stock should. I like to see a turnaround. I'd like to make a U shape. Like I always say, I want to hold the stock to go sideways, and then maybe start lifting up a little bit, then buy this stock. So I just don't want to put my hand under right now. It's like still like a falling knife. But I think these stocks are on getting very undervalued. I think we should. There's some stocks that are ready to buy. Target I already own. Okay, I think Target is a better stock right now, fundamentally, and to own it. But Lulu, I would just stay away from for it for now. So if you look at Target TGT, I think Target is a better option. Okay, it is up, sitting at 105. I don't know if what price you guys bought this stock at. I was recommending around 102 to $100. So if you got it back here, you're still up on it. I still see this going higher. Why do I see this going higher? Remember, we are in the month of August and September when the kids are going back to school and they need clothes, and they what kind of this is one of the cheapest stores in the US where you can go buy name brand clothes. Lulu is a name brand clothes as well, but then it only sells Lulu stuff. But Target sells everything. Okay, so I would definitely go take a look at this stock. I think it's cheap still at 104 bucks, if 105 bucks if you're looking to buy. But if you're looking for a breakout, this would be a nice breakout up here, 108. And if it breaks up there, I think this is going back to 120, $130. This stock should be good for the next 6 months. Why? We're going into Christmas coming up as well, right? So I think this stock TGT should be an add-on. Uh, yeah, I would definitely buy these ones. Gurkeet, Dollar General, all these stores are should be doing real well. It should be picking up. Again, these things are breaking out. We have these on our stock and our portfolio already. This one is sitting 114. Watch for this to break out at 117. I already own it. I'm not selling it. Other one, my favorite one personally is Dollar Tree DLTR. This has been very strong breakout. Look at that, beautiful. I said this thing back here. I like Dollar Tree better than Dollar General or any other store. So we bought it back here, and it's making very good money right now. It continue to own. And if you like the dollar store in Canada, Dollarama is the one to buy. But Dollarama have we recommended at 150. But if you want to buy, here's the red line I draw right there, 197 above. If you want to buy it, but if you want to buy the cheaper, watch this trend line break to the downside. If it breaks to the downside, I would wait. Okay, wait for it to come down. It's a very solid stock, but if it gives you an opportunity on the dip, that's where I would like to buy Dollarama. Okay, but just hold on. You don't want to overpay stuff. Then you pay price here, then the stock drops down, then you sell it. You don't know what to do with it, right? You want to wait patiently on stuff like that. So just like we try to what we like to predict here, we like to get in advance. We don't want to buy stocks when they're highs. We want to buy it when nobody's looking, right? We want to buy those when nobody's looking, like stocks we've been buying in the past already. So everything you guys seen me buy so far, that nobody was, looking. So I think CNR is still accumulating. I'm accumulating the stock real. I got a lot of it still. CNR, I'm still accumulating this. I'm gonna quickly go some of the stocks that I've been accumulating. Pepsi, I've been accumulating. It's kind of, I'm waiting for this breakout to the upside. It can break out. Humana insurance company, I've been buying. It's a buy still. Uh, I think it can go further up high. Very solid company. Somebody who I forgot. Somebody put UNH. Was it UMN? I think somebody said they were Berkshire Hathaway was buying UNH. So Berkshire Hathaway was buying UNH. So let's take a look at UNH. UNH, well, looking at 253, 250. I did not recommend buying UNH yet because they got a lot of problems, and the feds are also suing them, right? The feds are also suing them. So um, that's holding this one to the up, holding to the downside. Humana, the other one was CNC. That's that I'm accumulating. So far, it's going to sideways. I like to see this thing make a U-turn. If this thing makes the U-turn to the upside, that's when I like to maybe accumulate this more. So I see both Humana really and CNC are cheapest stocks. But if Berkshire Hathaway is buying UNH, I will look into it, see why they're buying UNH, and if possibly we can maybe add some of it, that a little bit. I already have two companies, so I don't know if I want to add a third one, but let's see. Anyways, that is quickly. Jasprit is asking, what about correction? Well, buddy, if you are getting lower interest rate, they're putting liquidity into the market, and this is what the inflation is telling us. Inflation is going to the downside. If the interest rates are going to cut, they're going to put liquidity into the market, and when they put liquidity into the market, people borrowed money. Okay, when they borrow money, they put it into the stock market. They buy stocks, and yes, right now the stock market is overpriced. But how far can they push this thing? How far can they push it to the upside before the correction will happen? Right? So let's see. I don't see a correction on the short term, but 2-3 months down the road, when it gets overpriced, maybe, right? But right now, yeah, I totally agree. Right now, just keep trailing your stop losses. So when the correction does happen, it's going to happen pretty quick, right? So always stay on alert. You know that. Look at the past corrections we had so far. The market pushed down to the downside very quickly. Okay, so just be very careful. Again, I know we are getting overpriced, but again, you don't have to go into the overpriced stocks. Go into the stocks. Home stocks are still cheap, right? Pepsi is still cheap. CNR is still cheap. These stocks are already in the correction stage. If you look at it, CNR is hitting the lows. It's already in a correction stage, right? Pepsi just came back from a correction stage, right? So those stocks, just be selective on what you're buying. You don't have to go buy Nvidia because they are hitting the all-time highs, or some of the other stocks that are hitting the all-time highs. You don't have to go put money in them, right? So when the correction does come, the stocks like Nvidia that have been running are going to get the most hit. Okay, so you don't have to. Correction happens, but they'll usually happens when you most likely unexpect it. Okay, so be very careful. Take a look at okay, let's take a look at PNW. So Gurpreet says it's cheap. Palo Alto Networks, it's down. It's bouncing off the lows here. A lot of selling happened in this zone. Take a look at stocks kind of going sideways. Let's see what the fundamentals say. Statistics. It's a technology stock, so you can forgive a little bit numbers on this one, but they're still too high for me. I think these numbers still too high for me. Fundamentally, it's revenue is a very strong. $112 billion company, still going revenue, and the future earnings are pretty stable. right? They're a little bit higher than these numbers, but there's nothing to me to be honest with you. There's nothing exciting in here right now that I want to buy. Go buy Palo Alto Networks. There's nothing exciting here, so you can hang on to if you have it. Maybe I'll go back up here, but nothing exciting for me. AMD, it quickly take a look at AMD Advanced Micro. Yeah, yeah, AI boom is still happening. Yeah, it's still happening, but a lot of the wind has been already left out of the AI. 174. If it breaks above here, 182.60 on AMD might continue to the upside. This is because all the new sets coming out with NVIDIA chips and AMD chips they're selling to the Chinese. How much are they going to really buy at the end of the day? Tomorrow they come out, if China doesn't buy a lot of these chips, guess what happened to these stocks, right? So just be careful. Okay, why? Well, the Dow Jones, Drake is, remember, the 30 stocks are mature companies, right? The 30 companies are mature companies. That means they're not growing. You are exactly right. That's why they're not making the highs. But the technology sector is, and so is S&P. S&P has 35% of those big stocks that are pushing that to the upside. Okay. So anyway, guys, it's 8:51. I will be back right after the show at 9:30. We'll talk about more of these stocks. We'll talk about more what the CPI is doing to the data. Also, remember the Canadian banks are coming out the end of the month. TD, I believe, is still a buy. I think it goes higher before the earnings come out. I'm a buyer of this stock, and I think this thing turn around. It's like making a left shoulder. Then there's some, the head here. Then looks like it's going to make a right shoulder. Maybe does it look like it's going to break to the downside? I don't think so. I think it's going to go to the upside. So I'm still holding TD. I'm waiting for the earnings on this one. So I'm not recommending on any other banks right now. They all had pretty much run up. So I'll leave it there. I'll quickly VITL before I go quickly. What on that looks like Vital Farms. Yeah, stock looks like it's on already to break out to the upside. What do the fundamentals look like? What does the stock do? Stock is raised shell eggs. Okay, shell eggs, raised butter. So they're into food business. $2 billion company. Statistics numbers don't look too bad. The revenue, is it growing revenue? Yes, it is. Uh, yeah, it looks okay. Looks okay. Earnings, future earnings are going higher, so that's not bad. It's a growing company, that's for sure, right? And could it continue? I would look for a breakout. If it breaks out to the upside, that would be the time. So anyways, guys, I gotta go and get ready. I will see you at 9:30. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's having a good Tuesday morning, ready for another day in markets. We just had CPI numbers come out. A little bit of mixed numbers, but overall markets reacting pretty nicely to it. We had CPI come out actually lower than expected at 2.7%, but core CPI slightly higher than expected, and the month-over-month numbers pretty much came out as expected. So off of this, market's still kind of pricing in that we might get that 50-point basis cut potentially in September. And off the optimism, we're kind of seeing this huge spike up right now, breaking above yesterday's highs. So we'll see if this optimism continues in markets today. If we can maintain more of a risk-on approach, we'll see if ES and Q here push for all-time highs. Nasdaq a bit closer to its all-time highs, as again this rally, as Drake put in the chat, which I heavily agree on, has been very selective. Right, we've been seeing very few names causing this push up. Pretty much any name that has sort of AI sort of related to it, besides the AI ticker, is pushing to the upside, right? NVIDIA, Microsoft, Meta, your data center related names, your crypto related names, your nuclear names, any sort of your certain select industries all kind of heavy tech based, have been what's kind of leading this market, pushing things to the upside. So we'll see if that trend continues now with the CPI coming out, a bit lower than expected. It gives the Fed the kind of room to lower rates, which what the market wants. And if we lower rates again, that inspires more investing, more growth in these high risk growth names that require a lot of this funding for their research and development, right? So that's why we're going to see a pump up here early on in the market. We'll see if this still continues, right? A direct rally here now in the kind of pre-market session. If that optimism does hold, if we do open on this gap up and we see kind of bullish momentum continue with this push, then we'll see if we want to, see that move, see if we get a tag off that all-time high level. If it does kind of just sweep it and we get a failed breakout attempt, then we could also see just continued chop, possibly even a faster sell to the downside. So we got CPI numbers this morning, but taking a look at the economic calendar, there's not really much else happening for today. We do have Fed Barkin and Fed Schmidt speaking around 10:30. We'll see if they make any sort of comments off of this. We also have a White House press briefing and the U.S. federal budget balance in the afternoon. Not major data points, but can create some volatility there. And then it's a pretty quiet session until we get PPI numbers on Thursday. So we'll see if the CPI can continue to create volatility. We'll see, yesterday was a pretty dead market. It was kind of sideways, slowly trickled to the downside. But now with this number out, we'll see if it can create some further optimism. Seeing some really strong pushes in some of these tech names. I mean, the Mag 7 names across the board, all kind of spiking up off this inflation number. But we'll see if that momentum holds as we get into the regular session. So looking at the charts, let's see what the key levels for today are, as you're going to get the open here in about 30 minutes. So if you take a look at the ES, S&P 500 futures, right, yesterday we were kind of holding pretty much in this range. And then afternoon, we kind of slowly started to kind of trickle to the downside here, but still holding above those Friday's lows. So we got a pretty strong push up here off this CPI number now right into back this 64.27, 64.35 supply zone. So we'll see where we close here in about 3 minutes, but it does look like we might be wicking this level. So if we do get a close below, let's see if price can consolidate in this range. If we can hold above 64.27, then we're picturing that, we could see continuation higher. You do have CPI and overnight highs now at 64.42. So that would need to break for then that next leg up. And then from there, you got your key zone here at 64.50, 64.59, prior to then all-time highs at 64.68.50. This overnight high level is kind of a weak overnight, as it was done also in kind of the overnight session right back here. So you could see this as a stronger zone, 64.50, 64.59. And if that breaks, we'll see if we get clear skies to the upside. So these key levels to watch for. See if, we get the everything else market, like the Dow, like the Russell, like your staples, your industrials, your financials. If they start to gain optimism from this number, we'll see if it can, lift markets here along with the ES. If we do kind of close below, or we kind of see a sweep here take place, a break back below 64.27, could take us back down to kind of test this neckline here. So I could just put a level there right at this neckline level, put around 64.11. That'd be kind of the first key test there to see if this breakout holds from this kind of janky looking double bottom. If it does, we'll see if trend wants to continue, see if we can maintain consolidation in the upper hand of this chop range to show that both still have strength. But a break below 64.11 could take us down to overnight and that CPI low, which is 63.92. And that'd be going to key level on the downside, right? If we do kind of get that break early, and we kind of see prices back below 64.27, then just be careful for any sort of range bound action back inside of yesterday's range and the weekly range. If we do start to see kind of this sweep add more selling pressure, and we see kind of a bit more bearish conviction in the markets, a break back below 63.92 takes us to the key line of the sand for day, which is at 63.83 demand zone, marking last Friday's lows. And right below that, you also got the 10-day at 63.73. But so far, pretty bullish reaction, right? So being a bit more risk on here prior to the open. First kinds of potential downside if we get there is at 64.27. If that breaks, keep an eye on 64.11. All right, so we'll see what plays here during the session. We'll see if this optimism from this CPI number continues to pump these tech names, right? And taking a look at NASDAQ, right, also getting a nice pump here. So we'll see how this candle closes in about a minute. But if it does kind of close above this 23,770, we'll see if price can continue to consolidate inside of this supply zone. This also marks all-time highs here at 23,847. So if we do see optimism continue in the market, if it does break that 847, then it's just a matter of how much demand is there. Is demand continue to push prices higher? Do we see names like NVIDIA, which kind of just now right